Hi everyone, very good morning and good evening. So we'll start the session, guys. Let me share my screen. Okay, good. So today what we are going to do is we are going to see how we can able to implement the validations. When you are loading the data to copy command, right? So here there is mainly two things. One is before loading data to the table, we can able to validate it. Another one is after loading
Hello.
data to table. So these are the two things what we are going to see. You can hear me right, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Fine. Thank you. Now let's observe this here. So here when it is coming to before loading the data, right? We are going to use validation mode. Validation mode equal to return errors. This is the command which you are going to use. So but one thing we need to remember here, when you are using validation mode, return errors, it will throw only errors. Only errors it will give it to us. This validation mode also we are going to give that in a copy command itself. But if you don't have an errors, if the file and then when it is compared to the table, if you don't have errors, generally copy command what it will do, it will load the data, right? But when you use validation mode command, it won't allow you to load the data. It won't load data. It means validation mode command, just when you implement it, it will just validate whether your file and then comparing to the table, do you have any errors or not. If you have any errors, then it is going to display. That's it. And one more thing about the validation mode command is after loading data to the table, data to table, this validation mode option will not work. It will not work. It means before loading the data table to the table, it will show the error related information. But after loading the data to the table, it won't allow us to throw the errors, because once the data is loaded, so if it is having errors, how we can able to load? Yes, we can able to load that by using a on error continue option. We will see that. So remember that after loading the data to the table, if you try to implement validation mode return errors option, it will not work. It means it will not throw any error. Even though if it is having error, it will not throw any errors. So now let's observe this. Here what you are going to do is when it is coming to validation, let's say this is a file. Observe this. This is a file. Now in this particular file, intentionally what we have done is this is employee ID. It will be a number, right? The number data type we will create it. When you create a number data type, and then one more thing, if you observe here, these are the two additional columns we are having, right? These two are not numbers. These are string, right? When you try to load this, then it will throw error, right? We will see how we can able to see this information. Now what we are going to do is let's create a table structure for this, and then we will load this particular one into the stage area. After that, we will try to implement the validation mode option. So now let's observe this. What we will do is we will create a table structure. Let's come here. Emp underscore validate is the table name. Now observe employee ID. What is the data type you are giving? Integer. When you give integer, it will allow only numbers. Now employee ID we created. So table is created, and then this table, the emp validate, it contains employee ID as a number. Okay. Now we wanted to load the data to this particular table. We can keep the file into the stage area, or we can keep it into the table stage. It's up to us, right? So we will use multiple times. The best practice is what we will do is we will keep it into the named stage area. So already the stage which you created, let's see, is there any files is available here? List at the rate stage name. If you observe here, now see this, we don't have any files, we have removed it. Now we will keep the file into this particular named stage. Whatever the error file which you are going to see here, this particular file we will keep there. To pick the path, copy the path here. Then what you have to do, in the put command we have to modify, and then we have to keep this into named stage. Now let me modify the put command according to the stage area. Come here. Now we are using, this is the path where the file is available. Now give the path here. This is the path. Now we have to execute this put command. So to do that, we have to come to command prompt. So here let's log into our account. SQL space minus a space our account details. So here account details are this one. Let's come here, right click, enter. It will ask the username and then password. Let me give, this is the username, duplicate, and then password given, sorry, password wrongly I have given. Again I have to give, giving the password. Now use database name. Now we have to execute this put command. Now come here, copy this, come here, right click. Now I have given the put command. Okay. Observe this, the file is available in this stage area. The file which you have loaded here, this is the file which you have loaded. This file is having two errors, right? Now, how we can able to understand when you are during the loading process, what will happen if you use copy command? If you have any errors, it will throw error by default, right? Now observe this. For example, here we are going to give copy into table. What is the table name? Validate. This is the table name. What is the stage name? This is the stage. And when we are executing this, observe this carefully here. It will give error. See this, what it is telling? Snow is not recognized, but it is giving error, right? But why we need to use validation mode return errors again to see the errors? The reason is it will give just a high level, but it will not give the complete in-depth details, how many rows we have errors, and then what all the the fields are rejected. All those things we cannot able to see that. Just it is giving high level. The numeric value snow is not recognized, right? Now, if you wanted to see the complete the error details, what we are going to do is we are going to use validation mode return errors command. Observe this one, validation mode return errors. When you use this validation mode return errors, see this one, we didn't loaded this particular file to the table, right? Now we are executing this. Now observe what is the difference between previous and then current when you are using validation mode return errors. Observe this one, it is clearly telling two rows is having error, and then this is the error details, and then this is the file name, this is the lines, fourth and fifth lines, and then you can see this one, that it will give some error code here, and then what is the column name? See this, it's clearly telling column name. And then what about the rejected records? These are the rejected records. See this. It is telling that these are the rejected records. It is giving the complete information, right? Error details it is giving. Now, so this one, it will give error related details when you use validation mode return errors. But if you don't have any error, validation mode error, what it is going to do? It will just return the errors, but it will not load any data if you use validation mode return errors command. Now let's observe this. What we are going to do is we will create another table with validate underscore test. Observe this one, validate underscore test. This is a new table. And here what we are going to do is employee ID also we are creating as a string. Then what will happen? It will allow, right? String means it will allow numeric and characters. Now let's create a new table. Now we created new table. Now see this. This is the new table. This is character. Now if you try to execute the copy command here, copy command, and with this particular table, this is the table name, right? We are trying to load it into this particular table, and here we don't have any errors. It will load, but I am using validation mode return errors option here. Observe this one. In the copy command, we are using validation mode return errors. This is one of your certification question. What happened? Observe this one. What you can see. It is telling that there is no errors. Query produce no result. It is telling related to error details. There is no errors means we will think that okay, we have executed a copy command. Maybe this file has been loaded to the table, but actually it won't. Now, if you observe, see this one. So let's say, what is the table name? This is the table name, right? See this one. Can you able to see the data? No, right? We cannot able to see the data here. It is not possible. So because it is not loaded. Now, what I will do is observe this. The same command we are going to run after commenting this validation mode option. Now, if I execute, then what will happen? It will load. But previously it is not loaded because of validation mode return errors. It will just throw, if you have any errors, then only it will give the error details, but it will not load the file to the table. Now without validation mode errors, it has been loaded the file. Now if you see, the data is available, right? This is how we can able to identify the errors before loading the data to the table. Let's assume, okay, so sometimes, okay, I don't wanted to, like every time I don't wanted to use validation mode return errors. So whatever the data I am getting it, so from the file, my requirement is only load valid data only. I wanted to ignore error related rows. I wanted to skip those error related information. Then what we can use is, we can use on error option. On error, there is different options. We can use skip file option. On error, we can use continue option. These are the two things. By default, on error will be abort statement. By default, on error, abort statement. If you see, describe stage and then stage name, see this on error. What is the by default abort statement? It means when you receive any error, just it will abort the statement. It will not execute it. For example, here we saw this here, right? This is the table, actual table. And then if you are try to run this table, what this table is having? Number. And then from the same stage, we are trying to load it into another table. If you do this, what will happen? It will throw error. See this? And what it is telling? You can use on error option. You can use skip file or continue. What will happen is, When you use on error equal to skip file, it is going to skip that file, remaining files will be processed. So for example, if I use on error equal to skip file, if I use skip file option like this, what will happen is the file which it is invalid, that file will be skipped. File which it is valid, that file will be loaded. That is the option of on error equal to skip file. See this, if I try to execute it, for example, here we have only one file, right? In the stage area. So this is the stage area, right? Okay, let me execute list at the rate named stage. This is the stage. So how many files we have? Only one file. If you have multiple files, let's assume we have 4 files. One file is invalid file, error file, remaining all are valid. Only the error file will be skipped. Now if I execute on error skip file, see this one, what it is telling? Load failed, but it didn't throw any error, just it is telling that load failed. See this, it parsed and then it has been rows loaded is 0. It means it is not loaded any data. But for example, if I have any valid file here, what will happen is that file will be loaded. One file will be skipped, another file will be loaded when I use on error skip file. This is the one of the option if you are dealing with multiple files. Another thing is on error continue. If we use on error continue, what will happen is it is going to load valid rows, invalid rows it is going to ignore. It means it is going to load valid rows, invalid rows is going to be ignored when you use on error continue option. See this, now we are executing this. Before that, let's check the data in the table. See this, we don't have anything, right? We don't have anything, right? Now let's execute. I'm using on error continue option. When you use on error continue, observe this, what happened, what it is telling, partially loaded. See this, how many it picked? 6. How many it processed? Only 4, right? So 6 parsed, 4 processed. Now check the data in the table. See this, what you observed, right? Only the valid rows has been loaded to the table. Now let's assume by using this on error continue option, we have loaded the data. It skipped invalid rows, right? It skipped error rows. Now I wanted to know what all the rows has been skipped. I want to understand. So which rows has been skipped? Can I able to see it here? No, you cannot able to see that. Now already the file is available in the stage, right? Available in the stage. We can use validation mode return error option, right? Now the data has been loaded to the table. After the data is loaded to this table, if I try to execute validation mode return errors, what we discussed previously, it won't work. See this one. The reason is once the data has been loaded to the table, it will consider the file has been already processed. That's the reason it won't validate it. Suppose I used on error equal to continue option. What is the way how to identify how many errors we have? So what are the rejected records? How we can able to identify? For that, after loading the data, right, what you can do is have an option of validate option. Validate using query ID. Query ID. Query ID means here when we are executing every query here, it can be a select statement, it can be a copy statement, it can be a list statement, whatever it may be. Every execution what we are doing here, Snowflake is going to have unique query ID for this. For example, if you see, come to this query history, open that in a new tab, observe this. Query ID is always unique. See this one, whatever the queries we are executing, when I open this, right click on new tab, this executed in the backend. And see this, copy command, observe this, select statement, observe this, copy command, and see this list, right? So everything whatever we are going to do, see this, select, I mean describe stage. For everything whatever we are going to execute it there, you will have a query ID. But if you observe this query ID, this is completely unique query ID. See this one, it's unique, right? Completely query ID is unique. Based on this query ID, you can able to identify it. Query ID will it will be useful in identifying which query we have executed based on the query ID. So going forward, we will see the time travel option. With the help of this query ID, we can able to get it. That's the reason for every query when it is executing in the backend, Snowflake will generate a query ID. It's a unique value. Now, through which query ID we have executed that copy command, during which query when we are processing, it has loaded the data by using this, right? By using on error, sorry, this one, on error continue. By using this on error continue option, by using this, it has loaded the data. Now for this is the query ID. Pick the query ID. This is the execution it happened in the backend to load the data into the table. At the time of loading the data, it skipped error rows, right? So in this, that's the reason we are using the same query ID. Now let's observe this one. This is the query ID. What you are going to do is, by using this query ID, we are going to use the select statement. So let's come to this. What we are going to do is, we are going to implement select star from table, select star from table, validate. What is the table name? EMP validate. What about the query ID? This is the query ID. Give that query ID here in the select statement. See this. What we are doing is here, we are going to get the error records during this query execution happened on this particular table. Show me the validate option. This validate option will give us error related information during the load of this particular process. See this, before loading the data, when you use validation mode return option, it gives the same information. After the loading the data, these two rows has been skipped, and then again when you are executing this validate option by using the query ID, again I am going to get the same details, right? Let's say I wanted to preserve this, for example, for my like standing purpose, weekly once I wanted to check how many are rejecting. So I wanted to send it back to the source team who is sending the files to us. Then what you have to do, if you wanted to load these things, yes, we can able to implement it. So we can able to create a new table called rejected table like this, and then we can able to load it. For example, I will create table rejected rows as, I will use this command. See this, what will happen now? It will be created a new table with this particular result. Now see this one. Now the rejected table is created. Now this table, what it contains? It contains the information related to rejected rows. So this one, 2 rows we have. Now if you go and then if you preview the data, you can able to see the error information it is showing in this particular table. So like this, we can able to load this error details also. So same way, let's come to this. So here, for example, if the length is not sufficient, it means when we are creating a table structure, observe this, the table structure what we are creating here, this table structure which we are creating is employee ID as 3. So this is nothing but truncate columns option, TC. Let me give TC, truncate column option. Just give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys. Okay, so let's come to this one. Here, truncate columns option means when you created a table, let's assume we have the table structure as like see this. By default, if you don't specify, this is the length it is going to pick for the number column. 38, precision will be 0. The length will be 38. Now, if I specify length as a 3 here, see this one, we are specifying length as a 3. If I specify length as a 3, but actually the data is coming to the table is 4. For example, if you see the data in the table, sorry, let me close this. Okay, observe this. So what is the length here? 4, right? 4 is the length. But what is the length we are creating in a table? We are creating in a table length as a 3. During this process, if I try to load the data into this particular table, what will happen? Already the file is available in the stage. Let me execute the copy command by using this table. Copy into, this is the table name from the same stage name. In this particular stage, we have a file, right? That file contains employee ID length is 4. But in this table, what is the length we created? The length which you have created is 3. Observe this one, 3. Now, when you execute copy command, what will happen? It will throw error, right? See this? It throw error. What it is telling? Limit 3 exceeded by the string, right? It is exceeded by the string. So 1001. So it means it is telling that the length is 4 in the table, but length what you are trying to load is 3. So this will not allow. Then how to handle this? To implement this, for example, in some of the situations, you may want to avoid unnecessary decimal values. For example, let's assume the phone number, it has to only 10 digits, or bank account number, it has to be like assume that 15 digits. It should not go beyond that. So then we can restrict only the specific value. For example, some of the decimal points. For example, I wanted to cut off only 3 decimal points. The length, complete length after that 3 decimal points only. For example, percentage, right? So only I need to cut off only for the 6. The length will be the 6. So then I don't want her to get more than that values. So for example, if the percentage is 99.102, 99.10406, if it is coming, I wanted to restrict to 2 or 3 after the value, right? The 2 decimal points only I wanted to consider. Then we can restrict the length. In those particular situation, we will use the length. When you use the length, and then if, for example, let's assume when the file is receiving, you are going to get length is exceeding than the actual length. Then what we have to do is, in this case, we have to use truncate options column, or we can use enforce length. These are the two different things what we can able to use it. One is truncate options column, another one is enforce length. See this, both are similar only. Both are used for the same purpose. See this, initially they came up with the enforce length. By default, enforce length is true. It means whatever the length is available, Snowflake has to maintain same length. It should not truncate. When it is coming to the truncate columns, by default it will be false. Don't truncate any columns. Both are similar only. Now you can use truncate columns as a true or enforce length equal to false. You can give anything. Then this is going to load. So what we can use is truncate columns. Let me close this. I will use truncate columns equal to true. If I use truncate columns equal to true, what will happen? It will truncate the columns. By default, it will be false, so it will not truncate any columns. If I don't use this, then it will throw error. Now observe this one, but we won't use it every time, but wherever it is required, then only we can able to use this. See this one, now it has been truncated. And then all the rows has been loaded. Now if you check the data in the table, now see this, select star from table, what you can see everything it has been loaded with the length as 3, length as 3, right? Okay, fine. Let's assume this is the data in the table, right? Now I am doing something on a table. I am working on something on this table. By mistake, I have deleted the data from the table, guys. See this, I have deleted the data from the table. Now once it is deleted, can you able to see the data in the table? No. So we need to remember one thing, in like other databases, Snowflake, no need to commit in Snowflake. Snowflake by default it will commit. You no need to do specifically. In other databases, once you do any DML operations, you have to commit. But here, so by default commit will happen for all the DML operations. So once it is deleted, we cannot get it back, right? Then how we can able to see the data in the table? See this, there is no data in the table. The data is not available. Still, the file is available in the stage area. I can run the copy command one more time. See this? If I try to run the copy command one more time, what happened here? What Snowflake is telling? Snowflake will not allow us to load the same file one more time, right? That is the behavior of Snowflake. It will not allow you to load same file one because it will consider that this particular file which you processing is already has been loaded. It will not allow. Then if I wanted to allow, then what you have to do? In that case, right, you have to give force command, force equal to true. Force equal to true we have to give. If I give force equal to true, what will happen is n number of times if you try to load also, every time forcefully the file will be loaded to the table. It will ignore the basic, the property of the Snowflake, and forcefully it is going to load the same file one more time to the table. Intentionally we are loading it if we are using force equal to true. Now observe this one, I have used force equal to true, it's loaded. Now you can check this, this is first time loaded, right? Again I will try to load one more time. See this, how many rows we have? 6. Again I will try to load one more time. See this, what happened? Again it has been loaded, right? If you load n number of times with a force equal to true option, every time it is going to load the data to the table. Clear? Every time it will allow you to load it. So that is the purpose of force equal to true option. Now one more thing here we wanted to discuss. Let's say once your file is available in the stages, these files by default it will be available for 14 days. Older 14 days files will be removed from the stage area. But in between, what will happen is whatever the files we are going to keep it in the stage area, Snowflake is going to charge for it. If you observe it here, the storage cost will be applicable for the stages also. If you see here, now come to admin activity, here admin, you can see the cost management. See this cost management. You can see the how many credits it is utilizing and all. When I click on virtual warehouse and let it come here, you can able to see the cost here. Let it come. I will go to the storage and we can able to see that. See this one, storage cost. When I click on storage cost, you can able to see this one, see this, the blue color that is related to the stages, right? That is related to stages. So you can still see the files what you are going to keep on daily basis in the stage area. It is occupying a storage. When it is occupying storage means that is nothing but we are going to pay to the Snowflake, right? So generally what will happen is as per the best practices, right? Once we load the data to the table by using copy command, if you think this file, whatever the file we have loaded, that file I don't wanted to keep that in a stage area. I wanted to remove it. See this previously, whatever the stages we have, all the stage files it will be available. For example, list at the rate percentage EMP stage file is available. See this list at the rate percentage EMP table stage. This is the another stage area, right? You can see the file, right? Every stage that is having a file. So unnecessarily we have loaded the data to the table. Again, we are keeping the files in the stage. It is not required. If you are clear with, okay, once the file is loaded to the table, I can remove the file from the stage area. So if you wanted to do it, you can do it manually. So by using remove and then by using giving the stage name, you can able to remove the file. See this file will be removed. But I don't want to do this manual process. During the copy command only, what I can do is we can use, see this purge equal to true. But remember one thing here, when you are using purge equal to true, this purge command is going to work only when your file is successfully loaded to the table. Then only purge command will remove the file from the stage area. Now if you observe the file, so which you are trying to load it here is this named stage, right? Named stage file. This is the file still available. Now if I use purge, what will happen is if the file successfully loaded to the table, then only purge is going to work, otherwise purge will not work. If I comment force equal to true option, what will happen? Will it again will load the file to the table now? No, right? It will skip. It means that is not a successful file loading, right? Now observe this one. See this. If I execute this, what happened now? Zero files processed. Still I am using a purge command. Now see the stage area by using list at the rate stage name. See this one. Still the file is available, right? But I have executed purge equal to true, but still file is available. Why? Because what happened here when you execute this? See this, is the file is processed? No, right? Copy executed, zero file processed. File is not processed. That's the reason file is still available in the stage area. Generally, as for the best practices, what we will do is during the copy command itself, okay, if you think that, okay, this file, I don't wanted to use it again, then what we can do, just we can use purge equal to true and let me remove the force. If I remove the force, what will happen? Forcefully, it will load the same file one more time to this particular table, right? When I execute this, observe what will happen now. See this one, it's loaded. Now let's check the stage area. See this, what you can see, is the file is available? No, right? File has been removed from the stage area, right? So like this, so we can able to remove the file from the stage area by using purge command. Only the thing is, remember that purge will work only if your file successfully loaded, then only it will remove. If the file is not successfully loaded, then it will not allow you to, for example, if it is having any error, if it is not loaded, so then it will consider as a like not processed, so then purge will not work. Okay, clear. So here we have some other options also. We are going to discuss about how to like remove the duplicates. So this is very important. Dynamically, how we can able to create a like a table. So these things, so we will discuss quickly. So let's say for example, we have duplicate values in a file. The file which you are trying to process, we have a duplicate values. Let's say the file I am trying to load it here. This file is having duplicate values. See this one? It means these are the duplicate values. These two are the duplicate. The same data. Same data we have two times, right? In this process, I want to load only the distinct values. I wanted to load only distinct values to the table. Then how I have to do? Then just it's a simple thing. In a simple copy command, we are going to execute distinct. We are going to use distinct command. Then it will remove the files from the table. Let me create a new table quickly. Creating a new table. Distinct. The table name is distinct. We are creating. That is a table name. And the file which it is available, we will keep the file into the stage area. We will in this stage. Do you have any files now? We have removed the file, right? There is no file. Now I will modify this according to this file. Now what is the file name here which you wanted to process it? This is the file name. No errors. Let me pick the file name here. This is the file name here. Same thing, right? .csv. Okay, let me execute this put command. Now the file is which it is available. This file it contains duplicate values. 4. Totally we have 4 rows, and then in that 2 are unique and then remaining are duplicate. 2 are duplicate. Now when I execute the copy command, generally what will happen when I execute a copy command, it will try to load all the data, right? It will try to load all the data. Suppose I wanted to implement a distinct option, then what you have to do is during the load, let's say you identified that okay, you came to know that file is having some duplicate values, then what we have to do is just we have to use distinct option, and then you have to use the file name here. The what is the file name here? This is the file name. This is the file name. We have to use the file name, and then so remaining all common, right? So only the thing is here what we are doing, we are using distinct option here. So in the select statement, distinct $1, $2, $3, what all the columns we required, we specified those columns. This is the stage name. What is the stage name here? This is the stage name. This is the stage name. This is the stage, and then this is the file name. In that particular stage, this is the file. So if you don't mention also, that is fine, because here only one file is there. If you have multiple files, then we can mention like this. Now let's execute this. Now observe what it is going to do. Here one thing, but don't get confused when you see these values here. If you observe this, see this rows parsed 4, it will show rows loaded 4, but don't get confused. But actually, if you see the data, this is some bug here, but so why they mentioned rows loaded as 4? Not sure. It should not be. So now observe this one. We'll get confused. See this? But actually, when you see the data, what we observed? Actually, it has loaded only 2 only, right? So in the 4 rows, 4, actually it is 4 in the file, 2 are duplicate, 2 are in individual. So what happened? So it has been loaded the data to the table, right? And one more thing, so related to this, we will cover in the coming session, dynamically creating a table during the load process. Okay, that it takes time. We will cover in next session along with the table structures when we are discussing, I mean, table types. What will happen is here, what you are doing based on the file which it is available, based on that, we are creating a table structure, right? But I don't want to create a table structure manually. Based on the file, what is available in my stage, based on that, I need to create a table structure. Automatically, it has to be created. I don't want to specify it manually. Here we are creating first. Then we are loading the data by using copy command to the table. But our requirement is during the runtime itself. Based on the file, it has to pick the file. Based on the file, it has to load the data to the table. So that is a dynamic approach. This is the like a new implementation we can able to implement in Snowflake, that we will see that in the coming session, guys. So here what are the things we have discussed about error validation mode, return errors before loading, after loading. After loading, we can use validate option by using the query ID. Before loading, validation mode, return errors, and then we saw that on error skip file, on error continue option. Then so purge equal to true, truncate columns option, purge option, force command option, and at the same time we discussed about distinct, the picking the distinct data into the table, right? In the we will stop it here. Coming session we will see so how to dynamically create a table structure during the data loading process. After that we will jump to table types in a Snowflake. Now let me come to the questions here. When using error skip file option, if the file rejected applies to all the records of the file. Yes, definitely it will rejected. Skip file means complete file will be skipped. So it will not pick any of the specific things. So if you wanted to pick only the things, then we have to use on error equal to continue option, funny. File or the records which, no, it won't load any remaining. Skip file option means complete file will be skipped. Remaining files will be processed. So let's say I have 3 files in the stage area. 2 are valid files. One file is having error. That error file will be completely, it will be rejected. Remaining 2 files only, it will be processed. It will behave like that. If you have huge number of columns, well, yeah, there is no other option here, Sumant, when it is coming to specifically the distinct select statement, we have to specify. So we cannot able to give select star like that. That is not possible. That is the one of the drawback here. Yeah. Can you disable? Yes, we can do that, Ankit. We can disable auto comment option. That in the coming session, I will show you how to use begin statement. We can use begin transaction statement. Begin statement we can use. After the begin, you can able to roll back also. So if you don't want like a rollback, you can able to commit it. So if you use begin, then commit. If you don't apply anything, any like a transaction statement like begin, then by default it will be auto committed. Can we have a different custom name for the downloaded file? Everything start with data star. Yes, got it. So I understand. So when you use like in the like yesterday session, when you use download option, so it has
Yeah, everything starts with
yeah,
data
everything
underscore.
with
Yeah,
the data underscore star. Yeah, so we can able to do that. So for that we have a some command. Somewhere I saw that. I will give you the command, exact command in the coming session. I will give it to you.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah. So for the validation mode, right? I
Uh,
understand that Snowflake is gonna validate the file and internally, right? So if we
correct.
have to automate this process, like if the file is not containing any issue, then only go ahead and load it. So is there a way it returns anything?
We can do that. That we can able to do that in our task implementation. I will show you.
Okay.
With the help of that, we can able to automate the process.
Okay. So it will return something, is it? That okay? Maybe somehow
Yes, yeah, it will return.
it gets loaded. Also, when you were describing the name stage, there were
Mm.
last two fields. It shows the current value and the default value, something, right? So, why it shows two different value? I mean, two different columns. Is it like one field can be modified for that temporary, or that for
Which
that
one are you talking
particular?
about?
If you can describe a name stage in CLI or anywhere. Um,
Okay, got it. Okay. Hmm. These things you are talking
yeah.
about, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Property
This is
value
the
and the property
default
difference.
value what it is given by the Snowflake. This value can be changed. It's up to us. For example, we saw that, right? On error command. So we have used skip file. On error, we have used continue, right? These things can be changed. The property value can be changed, but these are the default values, what it is going to be the default value. This can be changed for our things by default. Always if you wanted to do it as a on error equal to continue, yes, we can do that. Then this value will change here.
Here, um, how is it?
Sorry, you're asking something, Ankit.
I was thinking like, yeah, I was saying like, will that value change for that particular session, or will it be
Exactly.
applicable
Well,
for
for
that
that
session?
particular session only, not for the complete thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us like how to change that? Is it like somewhere some command is there?
Yes, we have some command. I will check and I will give the exact command, Ankit. But
Okay.
normally what we will do is we won't give it. We won't do that normally because only for the session, right? Just during the runtime only we will give it. I will see that. This is the property value. I will see. So I will give the exact command. Then we can see there is a alter command will be there. I will give the complete syntax to you. Any other questions?
Sorry, I joined back. Um, can you hear me? Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
So in your create statement, you use varchar as well as string. Both were there. So
No, no.
what's
So
the
just when you use by default as a
difference?
string,
Is it like
it
string
will be
is the
considered as a varchar. It will consider as varchar. Both are similar here. See this. You can use string or you can use varchar. Both the things is fine. Okay, guys.
okay?
Thank you. See you tomorrow.